Welcome, welcome, welcome to Explore SDSU Future Aztecs. You are in the Recreation, Fitness, Outdoor Adventure, and Sports presentation. I'm Amy Schiller. I'm Marketing Coordinator for Aztec Recreation, and I'm here today with my colleague Amanda.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Grant. I'm the Office and Marketing Coordinator at the Mission Bay Aquatic Center.
We're super excited to have you here today. We want to go over several things. We're going to talk about ARC membership. We're going to talk about sports and outdoor programs, Mission Bay Aquatic Center, student involvement opportunities for you, the ARC expansion, which is currently underway to bring to you a much bigger Aztec Rec Center. And then we're going to go over questions. I want to make sure to let everybody know that starting in fall of 2021, all students will have ARC membership included in their student fees. So let's take a look at the benefits. There's lots of opportunities for cardio exercise in ARC membership at the ARC and ARC Express. And as well, right now during COVID, we added cardio equipment outdoors on the deck of the Aquaplex. You can also do a ton of weight training with your Aztec Rec membership. You can do that at the ARC and ARC Express. Now, those are on opposite ends of the campus. The ARC is on the the west end of campus, and ARC Express is on the third floor of the Conrad Previs Aztec Student Union. You can also weight train right now because of COVID out at the Aquaplex deck, as well as at the rec field, which is just to the north of the Aztec Rec Center. Your membership includes climbing wall access. We're about to open our climbing wall again. Because of COVID, we had to have it closed, but we're going to have bouldering open soon and intend to keep that open during the fall for y'all. And of course, there is a gorgeous Aquaplex where there's lap swimming and as well water lounging out at the Aquaplex. And adjacent to the Aquaplex, we've got tennis courts, and there's also racquetball courts, which you'll have access to in your all-inclusive membership. Now, group fitness classes are also included in that membership. That's part of your student fees in the fall. And the classes are abundant. We've got both virtual and in-person classes, yoga, cycling, you name it, lots of variety, over 40 classes a week. Now, one of the things that I don't want to bog you all down with, but I wanted to explain a little bit about our membership activation. So since you'll have paid for it in your student fees, you're going to be receiving an email from us prior to move-in week on campus. And so the process will be that you'll have to do some stuff in order to activate your membership. You've got to sign an online waiver. You'll have to bring that proof of signature as well as your red ID into one of our facilities. And then at that point, you can download our Aztec Rec mobile app and start making your reservations. So also included in your membership are intramural sports. So one of the reasons why I put this a little later in the presentation was to make sure to pause for a second and let you know, of course, you have to sign up for these separately. You see a list of sports that you can anticipate that we're making an effort to deliver in the fall. Right now, people are asking about basketball. Because of COVID, the basketball courts are now populated with weight training and cardio equipment because we couldn't offer basketball anyway. So at this point, we're anticipating not offering basketball in the fall. All of these leagues that we offer are 5 weeks long in duration, and then you get and then from there go into playoffs. A lot of students that are first years are forming teams with others on their res hall floor. But as well, there's an opportunity in our online system to sign up as a free agent so that you can just say, hey, I want to play soccer. What team can I join? I don't want to spend too much time on sport clubs. I did want to let you all know that immediately following Amanda and my presentation today, we have a tabling event. It's called the AS Village. And a lot of the sport club representatives, most of the teams are represented there, where you can actually go meet the captains and participants on the sport club teams. But we have over 800 student athletes that are part of sport clubs. These are typically highly competitive. A lot of the teams, about half the teams every semester, qualify for the national championships in their sport. So pretty involved, more involved than intramurals. I also wanted to touch upon Aztec Adventures. Now, if you are an outdoor person, the best thing you can do on campus is start climbing at the Art Climbing Wall. That program is managed by our Aztec Adventures team. So from there, you can start meeting some of the students who are student outdoor leaders and learn more about things that are coming up, opportunities to take trips in climbing, backpacking, hiking, camping, team building. This program also offers ENS credit classes. So those are credit classes where you get, 16 weeks of learning a skill, like learning how to climb from a very experienced fellow student. And we'll talk more about those in a moment. So the other ENS credit classes include fitness, mind and body, like yoga, Pilates, martial arts, dance, sports, and of course, water sports. And with that, I wanted to hand the presentation over to Amanda.
Thanks, Amy. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the programs and things that are offered at the Mission Bay Aquatic Center. So the Mission Bay Aquatic Center is the only off-campus recreation facility. It's about a 20-minute drive from campus. If you don't have a car, you can take the trolley from campus to the bus, or what a lot of people tend to do is get in a ride share, so like Lyft or Uber, and come down for either classes or renting. Based on this photo, so we're the brown building on the beach right there in that photo, and you can kind of see like our location is pretty ideal because we're located on the bay, but just across the street is Mission Beach. So we're able to teach surfing classes and do surfboard rentals as well. And people can walk just right across the street for their surfing classes. So these are all of the different classes that we offer. We also offer private lessons. So if you're the type of person that would rather learn in either a small group environment or just by yourself or just you and a couple friends, you can do a private lesson. Or we also offer group classes, typically on the weekends, where you can learn how to do any of these activities. Or if you already know how to do one of these activities, like say you already know how to wakeboard, we have classes that you can participate in if you want to just get behind a boat and wakeboard or wake surf. So in addition to classes, we also have equipment rentals. So anyone can come down and rent kayaks and paddle boards. And if you guys are local to San Diego, or even if you're visiting for this virtual event this weekend, if you show your Explore SDSU app at the Aquatic Center, you'll be eligible to get a free kayak or paddleboard rental. We also rent sailboats as well. For that, you do have to go through a little bit of a qualification process where we'll show you how to rig the equipment, where it's stored. That way, when you do come and rent, you're going to be responsible for setting up the equipment on your own. So you just have to go through a little bit of a orientation before you're able to rent sailboats, but we do also offer sailboat rentals, or if you go through one of the courses to learn how to sail with us, then you would be eligible to rent sailboats as well. And then we provide memberships for rentals. So if you wanted to come down and paddleboard or kayak, a paddling membership is $22 a month for students, or the sailing membership is $34 a month for students. Probably the most popular program for SDSU students at the Aquatic Center are our ENS semester-long classes. So these are going to be classes that you sign up for just like any other class, whether you're taking communications classes or history classes. You would search for these classes under ENS, which is the Exercise and Nutritional Sciences Department. And once a week, you would come down to the Aquatic Center and you can learn how to do any of these activities with other students. It's a great way to meet other students as well, but it's also a great break from your normal classes. You'll get away from campus for a little bit. Students really, really enjoy participating in those classes as a break and a good way to stay active and get in the water. One of the, I mean, there's all sorts of amazing benefits that are included in your ARC membership, but this one is a pretty popular one. So with your ARC membership, you get any of our one-day classes for just $5 once per semester. So you can see on the presentation, that's just like a short list of classes that we're currently offering. Typically outside of COVID times, we would be offering more offerings of different classes, but right now, like, the members can participate in a one-day wakeboarding class. So it's a 3-hour session where you would get to wakeboard or wake surf for just $5. Same with like moonlight paddling or paddleboard yoga. And then in addition to doing a class for $5, members can also rent once a semester for just $5. So a pretty unbeatable deal. And then on top of all of those amazing programs and benefits and offerings, Aztec Recreation hires many different positions that are students. So whether you want to work at the Aquatic Center at the beach or on campus, it's a great way to get involved, make some money while you're a student, but also meet some incredible people and coworkers. But I think like one of the most important things as far as working for Aztec Recreation and associated students in general is that, you know, as a student, your employer is going to prioritize the fact that you are a student first. So finding an employer anywhere else might be tough for, you know, they're not necessarily going to prioritize the fact that you're a student. Working for associated students in any capacity, that will be the priority. And then, you know, your work will come second. So if you have a really busy workload school-wise, you know, you're going to have an employer that understands that and is flexible with you on that. So if you are going to work while a student, I would highly recommend that you look into positions at Associated Students, specifically Aztec Recreation. And then Amy's going to talk a little bit more about other ways to get involved besides employment.
Thanks so much, Amanda. I see some people are also asking questions in the chat. I love it. Continue to load the chat up with questions, and as soon as we're done with the presentation portion, we'll definitely be able to answer your questions. Before I get going, I saw one about disc golf. I want to answer that right away because I want to let you know you're my soul friend. I love the sport of disc golf. I'm a former world title holder in disc golf myself personally. What I did was I started playing Ultimate when I was your age, and that was at the University of Illinois. We do have an Ultimate Frisbee team, so that is the only Ultimate like formalized disc sport that we offer on campus. But sometimes we do also offer Ultimate as like an intramural activity. But there's an excellent disc golf course right downtown, not very far, Morley Field disc golf course. So check it out when you're here on campus. I hope that answers your question. So in terms of getting involved on campus, Associated Students is an amazing organization. So we, Amanda and I, work for students. The leaders of our organization are 5 executive officers that each year, those are new executive officers that are on the pulse, So this is a student-directed organization, and if you want to start getting involved in student leadership positions, you could join the Recreation and Wellness Commission. That commission focuses a lot on mental and physical well-being. 8 dimensions of wellness is what we focus upon. Very interested in student engagement, and when you are on a commission, which there are actually a lot of commissions for AS, it gives you an improved sense of belonging, and it's a great way to make friends. So wanted to touch upon that. Also, the commission right now this year is highly involved with a huge project that we're doing. We are so excited to be expanding our Aztec Rec Center. It was built in 1997. We started this expansion back in March of last year, so it's made a ton of rapid progress. We're anticipating being able to open the expanded portion of the ARC in November of the fall of this year. So it won't be open yet when you arrive on campus, but just to clarify, the ARC itself, like the back half of the ARC is open. So it's like 2/3 of the building. We planned ahead and we did the project in phases. So right now we're in phase 3 of this expansion, and the total project will be done in the spring of 2022. This project is designed to be a LEED Platinum. And as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, membership is part of student activity fees moving into the fall semester. So you will all have access to all the things I showed you earlier. Now, here's what the project's going to look like. The front end that you just saw, which is under construction now. This is a 2-story expansion. And so we have on the upper level, a track. On the lower level, we're going to be able to simulate like a turf functional fitness zone. You can see also lots of new expanded space for weight training in the background. There'll be weight training on both the 1st story and 2nd story. This is part of the 1st story where we have a specialized Olympic lifting zone, which is very popular on campus. We're going to have not only a new climbing wall, which is much larger, it's huge. We also have a bouldering area, because right now the bouldering area kind of lives below the top rope climbing area. So this is like a huge benefit. It's going to massively expand the number of people that can participate at any one time at the wall. And that's a huge community. I think I mentioned it earlier, run by Aztec Adventures. We have a lot of fitness studios, 5. And this is an image of our hot yoga studio that we're bringing on. Yoga is one of our most popular group fitness classes. And as I mentioned, yes, they're included in your membership. And we have cycling, of course. Right now, our cycling is outdoors. It's out on the Aquaplex deck. But in the new facility, we're going to have a dedicated cycling studio. And this studio is going to be tricked out with all kinds of cool AV as well. And now everything you just saw is included, like it's going to open up in November of this year. The courts, however, are the last phase of the project. So when this project is done, we're going to have 7 courts. 6 of them are kind of standard basketball courts that we can also play volleyball on, but another is going to be a mat court. So that one is more so designed so you can do a wide variety like floor hockey and badminton. So that concludes our formal presentation, but Amanda, we've got a good amount of time to about 10 minutes that we can answer questions. Amanda, did you see any good questions in the chat?
Yeah, there's definitely some great questions. I think one thing that I want to mention too is this last slide has ways to stay connected to us. So if you guys are on Instagram or maybe Facebook, you can follow us along on there and kind of follow, you know, what both Mission Bay Aquatic Center and what's happening at the ARC. But one of the most recent questions was, how tall will the climbing wall be? Do you know that?
Wow. That's a great question. I was just there this week on a tour. I don't get to go into the building very often. And I know our current wall is 30 feet tall. So the best I'm going to do is estimate it's about 50.
And then are there prerequisites or tryouts for sport clubs?
Oh, that's a really good question. And the answer is it varies. Some of the clubs are extraordinarily competitive. Our dance club is like consistently winning national titles. In that case, yes, absolutely, they have tryouts. Other clubs, like I know the Gnomes Women's Ultimate Frisbee team, it's definitely like walkout. If you head out there and you're a walk on, you'll be embraced. So the best way to learn more about the particular sport club that you're interested in is to either go to the event that we're having right after this. Amanda, can you do me a favor? Can you copy in to the chat that URL for that event?
Yeah.
And meet, the sport club person. The sport club tables, most of them are on the second floor of this event that we're about to have, by the way. Or if you've got other stuff going on, I get it. Then you can check out our website, arc.sdsu.edu, and then our sport club teams, all of the presidents and team captains and coaches, their contact information is listed there. So you should follow up directly with them and ask each team. In the fall also, hopefully, just depending on what the rules and policies are with regard to COVID, I mean, this is usually in person out at tables. I would be telling you, go down and talk to these guys. What sport do you play? So we hope that we get to do table outreach and make it really easy for you all to meet our athletes. Is there another good question, Amanda?
I think there's a lot of specific questions about either intramurals or sport clubs. And like Amy said, I think that if you guys are able to come to the tabling event, that'll help answer some of those questions, and you guys can chat with the people that are on those teams or the presidents of those teams to kind of get those questions answered. I think one of the questions was, is tennis an intramural sport?
Yes.
Is that on the list?
Tennis is both intramural, and we have sport club teams. Actually, at SDSU, you can also play on the Aztec athletic team in tennis. Lots of options. The courts are fantastic. You're going to love tennis at SDSU. Let me answer this one too. NCAA eligibility does not apply to sport clubs, no. How about this one, Amanda? What's the cost of renting a kayak or surfboard if you're not taking a class? And how often can you rent equipment?
So you can rent as often as you want to whenever we are open. If you're going to rent a lot or like frequently, like if you want to come down and have access to the kayaks, the best thing to do would be a paddling membership, which that's $22 a month. And that will give you unlimited access for yourself to be able to rent either a single kayak, double kayak, or stand-up paddleboard. Surfboards, I don't have the price memorized, but I want to say it's about $17, and that's for the full day. And you're able to take that anywhere that you want to. If you don't want to surf Mission Beach and you'd rather go to a different surf break, then you could take the surfboard there as well.
And Amanda, can you also explain once again about the free paddleboarding this weekend?
Yeah, so if you guys are local or visiting San Diego, it's this weekend only, so today or tomorrow. If you want to stop by the Aquatic Center and check it out, you can bring your app or some sort of proof that you were attending this event, and they will give you a free kayak or paddleboard rental.
Thanks, Amanda.
It's a great weekend to do it too. The weather is amazing.
I've got a quick question that I don't think Amanda and I can answer. The residence halls in terms of their storage for bikes and skis. I'm sorry, I do not know.
I think that most have a bike storage. I think that most of them, yeah, have bike storage. I know some actually have surfboard storage as well, which is pretty unique to San Diego, but I don't know about skis. Would kind of depend on which residence hall that they're into.
I see someone's asking about recreational fishing. Do y'all do that out there, Amanda?
We do not. There's definitely a lot of places on Mission Bay that I'm sure would help provide access to that. And I think that on any dock or pier that you can fish without a fishing license. That's about all that I know about fishing.
Thanks, Amanda. I've got another question about water polo. Yes, water polo is a sport club. We have both a men's and a women's, two separate teams for water polo. Very competitive sport club. So if you're, I don't know if you're the same person that asked about tryouts, but I would venture to guess that those two teams will require them. Oh, I've got a good one for you, Amanda.
Okay.
When should I try and apply for a position to be an instructor at the beach?
So we're hiring right now. So if you're local and going to be around this summer, you could apply now. If you're not local and planning on coming to San Diego this fall, I'd say always check our website. We typically only hire in the spring, but with demand changing because of COVID, we've kind of scaled back our offerings. So in the fall, we may need to hire more staff just to be able to keep up with all of the demand and all of the students returning to campus. So I just encourage you to check our website. That will have a list of all of the open positions and you can apply online. And our website is mbaquaticcenter.com right there on the presentation slide.
All right.
So I think one last time I'm going to share this link again. So that way, if you guys didn't get it, that is what will take you to the tabling event that Amy and I are going to head to in a minute or so. You can ask us more questions there, or if you want to chat with those sport club teams, they'll all be there on the second floor. And then there will also be different commissions and other organizations from associated students that you guys can chat with as well.
We've got two more questions, actually three coming in really fast. The varsity sport clubs are not going to be at the event coming up. It's all AS. So it's like student involvement, student leaders, and all the sport club leaders. And that tabling event starts at noon. So it starts like immediately following this. You could literally just copy that URL into your browser and go there immediately. And what else, Amanda? Do we have another minute to answer another question? Oh,
yeah.
Just to clarify, someone wanted to make sure that if they don't have the Explore SDSU app, will their email be enough to confirm that they were involved?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So just take something that shows that you are involved in this event and they'll give you a free rental. And then like Amy said, the tabling event starts at noon. So we've got 1 minute.
Okay, in the last minute, I see another question. Are there outdoor adventures where we collaborate with the anthropology department or archaeology? Geology department has been our #1 collaborator. However, there is always an opportunity to do more and do interesting things. So I wouldn't rule it out. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for being here, everyone. I hope y'all follow us on over to our Remo event. Amanda and I have to run. We can't wait to see you next year.
Thanks, everyone.